leave the house and not sure why that was and what was going on. And then I was able to connect with the resident herself. And we do have the Department of Aging and Disabilities funds senior legal services at the Legal Aid Bureau in Annapolis for Anne Arundel County. And so I connected her with Legal Aid, and they've done an intake, and now we're connected with some of the other residents as well. And they're doing some research and trying to see if they can delay that or prevent it, or what the guidelines are that started the home, if they're allowed to, for instance, make fancy renovations and try to get more higher income people to live there or something. Like, what are they allowed to do? Because at the moment, as you all probably know, there are several lower income older ladies living in the home, and it's an amazing, beautiful, historic home. And some of the residents are only making like $700 a month. So to try to find something like that somewhere else, when they got a letter saying, we're making repairs, you can't live here anymore, we're moving you out, it's very scary to them. So Legal Aid is on the case. I just wanted to, I guess, give an update that we're doing what we can to see if we have a tiny bit of financial assistance, if they need help with like maybe a short-term hotel or maybe a storage cost. But we definitely want to try to make sure everyone's needs are met the best as possible. So if they can stay where they are, or if they can find safe alternate housing, either temporary or permanent. Just wanted to share that.
Great. Mary and Deborah, are you aware of what Sarah's talking about?
I must have missed it at the time. I've gotten a little bit of it from Sarah's explaining, but please.
You know the Chase Lloyd house though, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And the ladies who live there, but apparently they got a notice that they'd have to leave. I think they got the notice in early June, and they said it'd be 30 days, but then all of a sudden they were told the moving company is coming on July 1st. And so Legal Aid say, no, they have to go through the court process. You know, they can't just bring in the movers and rush things. So
has Historic Annapolis been involved in this?
I'm not sure about that.
They'd be a very good advocate.
It's not a Historic Annapolis property. They don't own it.
Oh.
It's so it's owned, well, it's
a trust, right?
Yeah, it was left to a trust.
Yeah.
And it specifically states that it's for the care of women. And the board is supposed to, you know, the board controls the house. And if they don't meet sorry, I'm getting all the language wrong. If they don't meet the rules that were in the trust, then it reverts to the church, to the archdiocese.
Okay. It might still be worth a call to Robert Clark or something to see if they have any advocacy for it. It is considered one of Annapolis's historic properties. So anyway.
I read the article the other day, and unquestionably, and then I found out that that Department of Aging, well, let me put it this way. I found out that there was an agency moving. I didn't know it was the Department of Aging. So, and so Sarah can't get back on again. Nobody, don't mute yourselves. Too late, I know, Sarah. So in essence, I saw that, and I did find out that there was an agency working towards that. So I thought it had somewhat been resolved. That's a good idea, Deborah. Maybe I'll give Mr. Clark a call. And see what the outcome is.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, as I said, I didn't want to keep you all long. I just wanted to review some of the things from the last meeting that I had with the advisory with the Department of Aging. So I wanted to give you some updates on a couple of things that I thought that that was very, very that could be helpful here in the city. One of those is that there is a food access warm line, and primarily what this is it's if an individual calls that number, they're hooked up with a caseworker, and the caseworker will begin to tell them where their food opportunity, places where they can get food, and when other opportunities will be occurring in that particular area. Sarah, looks like you're unmuted.
Yes.
Okay, great. So correct me if I'm wrong in giving this explanation. But I think it's a very good opportunity, especially here in the city. Not that I've heard of any of the issues occurring at the residence, getting feedback that they were having problems with getting, having access to get food, or having access to the ability because finances or whatever to get food. So that is, so that number is, and I think I sent it out the other day, but I'll give it to you again, just so that you can share it with anyone. It's 410-222-FOOD. I thought that was great. I mean, that number was available. I thought that was like, hey, because it's easy to remember, 410-222-FOOD. And I think that's an excellent access point. There, Pam Jordan and the agency is working on a food truck. I don't know when that's going to roll out. That's a conversation right now. I know on the Eastern Shore, they have a truck that goes around to the senior residents as well as to the centers and so forth. And this truck has it has two capacities. One for just regular vegetables and so forth, and then it has a freezer in it. So within that freezer is frozen goods and stuff like that. So it has vegetables, has some frozen goods. It was a grant that they were able to get the money from, and then they had this truck put together, and so I forget which county it is on the Eastern Shore, but it's in access right now. So I'm looking into that. I think that, as far as the senior centers, all right, so the senior centers were probably opening up in stages. And when I say stages, during the meeting, I recommended that to Pam not to open up the centers at a 50% capacity. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that, if I get up and I get dressed and I go to the senior center and it's over 50% and somebody's at the door saying you can't come in because we're over capacity, I'm disappointed, and I'm going to be hurt. So I'm going to go home, and guess what? I may not ever come back to the senior centers again because I was disappointed. So what I recommended to her was that the food program, it would be the first rollout, and that's a controllable, that keeps it under 50%, no one's turned away, and then continue to work on ways in which the centers can be opened up at full capacity. Anyone have any recommendations or any thoughts on that? Because I can get that information to Pam if you have something that you think might work better or thought.
Some places are opening alphabetically or assigning times alphabetically. I don't know if that'd work with friendships that have developed there or not. But, A through F and F through whatever on Monday, on Wednesday, Friday, or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm
you know,
not sure that would work, but you asked for thoughts.
I mean, yeah, that's a thought. I mean, it's a real thought, but you know, I know that for a lot of our seniors, that is their day out. That's their, and they're like, oh boy. So, you know, good thought, but then, you know, you came back with the other side. And the other side is my best friend, her alphabet is L.
Yeah.
And you know, so we never in the place together. And, you know, I visited the Annapolis Senior Center and the Pasco and South County on numerous occasions. And in going in, what I found is that the same people are sitting at the same table. So it's all the friends are there together. So yeah, good. That's a good idea.
Except
I
it
don't-
won't work.
Yeah, I don't think that one's going to work.
Yeah. Online signups would be hard too for people who are not computer savvy. I guess you could call up and I don't know. You'd have to find a way to have the friend groups together. Like, you know, people sit at the same tables with these two tables that come on Monday. It's complicated. You're right, Wayne.
Yeah. So I'm sure over the summer, depending on how things go, as long as Maryland stays at the level in which it's at, I'm thinking probably by August, they probably will have a go-ahead in regards to, they may have a go-ahead in regards to doing something differently at the senior centers. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know that they're working on it and they're working on getting them back open. So, so Mary, how things going on your property?
Going okay, but about going back to the senior center, I mean, a lot of the people, what we're working on first is trying to get the pool and the gym opened in a safe manner. We already have started exercise classes outside. And I noticed in the Capitol this morning that the Pip Moyer gym is opening up.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of the people that I know that go to the senior centers really benefit from the not just the social interactions, but also the physical activity. So if there was a way to sign people up for classes, I know it's usually done through Anne Arundel Community College. So I don't know whether they're getting a way set up to do that or not.
And those classes are virtual for the next semester. So there might be some folks who might not feel as big an urge to go back to the center right now if the main reason they went was for classes and their classes are online. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the Sarah, that's what the Rovers program is about.
No. Well, yes and no. The Rovers thing right now is the community college doing a daily online show on the web for us. But then for the fall semester, people are registering now for actual classes so that you can select the class you want to participate in, not just watching whatever the daily show is from the community college. I can hear you. So that, for instance, Wayne, you could sign up for art history, or, it's like as if it would be in the center, only it'll be online. So I think that's how it's going to go for the fall. So if there are folks like my mom, she goes to Arnold Senior Center for art classes. So if she decides to sign up for art class, it'll be online somehow instead of at the center. So people like her might decide, oh, I'll let the 50% capacity, I'll save that for the people who really go for the lunch and the camaraderie and all of that. And people like who just want to go for the classes, I guess it might naturally be a lower number of people if folks who want classes are going to be doing it from their houses at their computers. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a, I mean, it would be I think that what the directors at the centers, and I think the thought factor is even from them, it's all, or at this point, it's all or nothing. Because if they open up for the classes, then it's going to get around that the center's open, and then you're going to have other people who just like to come there and visit and sit and talk. They're going to start complaining. So at this point, I guess, so hopefully by fall, things will be better and will be better online.
Yeah.
Wait,
But that, yes, ma'am.
would they be able to do it in shifts? How the centers are open, what, 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 6?
So here's one of the things that comes into play there. Those individuals that have to catch the transportation in order to go to the center, they normally get picked up and dropped off somewhere between 9 and noon. And the reason why, so that they can have the meal while they're there, okay? And then the transportation starts coming back after around 12:30 and starts picking people up. Most of the centers, for the most part, are empty by 2 o'clock. Folk are gone, they're back home. So, so the time in which they would be in the center and would be somewhere between 10 and 2 o'clock. That's that window. It's 10 and 2. And that's for the people who do not have transportation. Of course, the people who have transportation, the majority of the time, they're there at 9 when the center opens. And of course, they leave whenever they're ready to leave. But, for the people in which we serve here, in the city, they need that transportation. A lot of them don't drive, so they come on the vans.
And nothing can be done at this point to accommodate the transportation.
Transportation is okay. So there's several lines of components. That's a whole nother different.
Okay,
Yeah.
You don't want a long meeting. Forget it.
There's no direct, and I wish it was. And this is one of the things in which I'm pushing for, and what I put into the comprehensive plan for the city.
Yes, that goes
Okay,
back.
was transportation, because I think that even in the county, there needs to be a direct transportation line from someone's home to the center, and then from the center back home. And it's not according to the loop where they have to ride maybe to pick up somebody from the doctor's office or something like that, because that's part of the transportation. So as well. So I know that there's one van that transports the seniors from the Annapolis Senior Center. The driver's name is, I think his name is Robert Howard. I think that's his name. And so most of them know him, but he has other things that he has to do as well. So it's not just dedicated, although he's dedicated to the center, because I think if you go there and you pick up their monthly newsletter, on the newsletter, in the back, he's listed as the transportation driver. And so in essence, he is dedicated to that center, but I think he has other things that he has to do as well. So, but I'll make sure that I talk with Pam and let her know that, we discussed this, and there were several ideas that were thrown out, and see what the, see if there's any way in which, we can help them in regards to the Annapolis Senior Center. And then if it happens for the Annapolis Senior Center, it's got to happen for all the rest of them.
Okay, if I can help, let me know.
You got it. Appreciate it. So in regards to meeting over the summer, if it's all right with you all, we were going to take a break July and August. Is that, you say, Wayne, we just came out of a break. We want to see your face all for the entire summer. But if you like, we can take a break July and August, and then because I want to give you an assignment over the next 60 days and update you on something. I have finally filed my paperwork to start my nonprofit, and it's basically two sides. It's called a benefit corporation. So it has there's a money side where I can do consulting, and then on the other side I can work on writing grants and so forth. It's political, but that does not distinguish the fact that I'm able to apply for grants for other matters and other things because I'm functionally involved in those things. And so in essence, in the fall, I should have everything should be approved by August, I would think, and I should have my financial numbers and everything. And so in September, what I would like to do with the commission is that we work towards in the senior residence, that as a commission we go in with some type of activity. It could be, it could be, movie. It could be, we could hire a magician and come in and do a magician show. We could do any of those things. And through my nonprofit, my plan is to submit grants for senior activities and senior things, so that we can raise money in order to do these things. But what do you all think about that? Thoughts? I love the smiles. That means it sounds nice.
Is this just for Annapolis City, or you're doing it somewhere else?
No, it's actually, this would be for Annapolis City. It would be for all of our residents. The 123 here in the city, and 2 out on Edgewood Road. So it'd be for the 5 residents. What I want to do, what I really would like to do is to make sure that we're, as a commission, we're impactful. And being impactful, meaning that once a month or once every other month or something like that, we're in those residents' faces. They know that there's a commission. If there's an issue or problem, they know there's someone that they can turn to. We also, in the process of advocating, and will continue to advocate for the Department of Aging and Disabilities, and in regards to other resources and so forth. But although we are currently connected with a lot of the residents, just trying to make it much more impactful.
Sounds like a nice idea.
What do you think, Mary?
If we could do something positive for the senior citizens, that sounds like a good idea to me. This is so different than anything I'm used to that I really don't have an opinion about how it's going to work or anything to help.
Got it. I've been reviewing grants and looking at some grants, and there are quite a number of grants in which that are out there that are available. Senior nutrition, helping with senior nutrition, helping with senior activities, helping with transportation for seniors. So there are a lot out there, and I've creating a corporation both from a non-profit profit and for-profit side, has been something that I've been thinking about for a while. Not that I'm going to be the chairman for life of this group, but I'm going to be dedicated, and I've dedicated myself to helping and moving things forward for our youth, our seniors, because at the same time, I'm thinking about our youth. And as I have mentioned so many times before, I feel that there's a bridge between the two, and that if we can continue to move forward in some positive actions in helping our seniors to live better lives, then we will affect the lives of the youth, and we might be able to change some of the things that are going on, like fireworks going off all night. I don't know about you, Mary, but I know Deborah's heard them, haven't
Oh
you?
my God. I actually called the police one night. And I never even used the word fireworks, but the guy, a non-emergency number, but the guy said, "Can you tell where they're coming from?" Knew exactly what I was talking about. So there was an article in the New York Times. There are a lot of conspiracy theories because this is going on all over. I can send the link to the article around. But it's been going on for several weeks, and it's all over the country.
Got it. Huh. Interesting. I thought since Phantom Fireworks was doing so much advertising, because I go through the channels, and Phantom Fireworks they're a whole lot of money. So yeah, you might be onto something. Send me that if you would. Forward that to me.
I will. I didn't go out to look at them, but I understand from the article, some of them are pretty good. So anyway, I will send you the article. Actually, I'm writing myself a note or else I'll never remember.
Got it. All right. So, through my report, I've kind of covered some of the new business and moving forward. Maybe in the fall, when Bruce is back with us, we'll look at changing, officers. Not that I'm not enjoying being the chair, but nevertheless, someone else might want to, sit in this seat. It's funny, I'm in the middle right here. At least on my screen, I'm sitting in the middle, and I got Deborah. I have you on this side, and I have Mary on that side.
Mary's in the middle on mine, and Hillary just says boards and C.
Got it. So on mine, it's like it's putting me in a little power seat, like it's just funny.
Mary's in that on mine.
Okay. Sarah, anything else you'd like to share?
I don't think so, not at this time. You've shared the main things. Definitely all of our food initiatives. I hope everyone's aware of the Fresh Food Fridays. Every other week is in Annapolis at the Heritage Center, and then the regular senior nutrition program. So I think those are our big things going on now, as well as the phone line you mentioned. Other than that, I just hope everyone has a wonderful summer, and we appreciate you all inviting us to kind of be part of the meetings.
So Mary and Deborah, the Fresh Fruit Friday tomorrow, it's at the Heritage Park. Am I correct, Sarah? Because last week it was at Pasco.
Then it must
I think it was
be, yes. I would want to double check that before I.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, it was at Pasco last week, and I think it's at Heritage Park. And if you're not familiar, primarily you get one big box of vegetables. And I hear that the box is deep, it's a heavy box, and it's a lot of good vegetables in there. It's one per car. And they normally are out in 30 minutes. They're out. I haven't gone through to see what it's like, but that's the report I'm getting back. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back online or in person, hopefully in September. And if there's anything that comes up that I feel that that I need to get out, I will send it out to you. And I hope everyone has a great summer.
Wayne, I got one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Looking forward to the fall and the fact that we're having so many health problems. I'm not aware of how senior citizens get their flu shots in the fall. But I mean, is that something that is going to be a problem because everybody's locked, if everyone's still locked down, which looking at the numbers may actually still be a problem?
So I know right now, many of the grocery stores, Safeway, Giant, if you come in or you make an appointment, you can come in and get a flu shot. And I think it's the same way with CVS.
Yes.
Now, of course, you know that currently CVS, I think they're the only institution. I don't think Walgreens is doing it, and I know Giant and Safeway are not doing it. But in regards to COVID-19 testing, CVS has a drive-through in which they're doing testing by appointment. So in my small infinite wisdom, I'm thinking that it's going to probably kick off earlier. So you more than likely, you're correct. It will not be what normally starts around November, October, November. I think it's probably going to kick off in September. And I think that those will be the access points. But good question. I'll research it. And anything that I find, I'll get out to you.
Thank you.
Is that good?
Thank you.
I
You're
have
welcome.
a question. Have any of the centers that we're dealing with been affected by the virus? I know Bates hasn't. So do we know of any seniors in Annapolis at the centers we're dealing with who have been victims of it?
No, to be honest with you, I have not heard, and it's kind of like it's information in which yay or nay. They may say yes, they may not say anything, but I haven't heard anything.
I asked Adrian, we were texting this week, and I, did anybody at the center, and she said not that she knew of. So
Right.
At
Yes,
Baywood,
Mary.
at Baywoods, within their nursing home, we've had 2 separate outbreaks. One of which they think came back into the nursing home, not in independent living, but into the nursing home through staff members. They've started, if someone gets sent to the hospital in an ambulance, they get put into isolation when they come back because they don't want them bringing it back from the hospital. So we've had 3 COVID deaths over in our nursing home so far in 2 separate outbreaks. Now, they've tested, in fact, as of this afternoon, we should be out of the second outbreak. But this stuff, just when you think you're clear, it rears its ugly head again. That's why I'm sort of hesitant about hopes for things opening up anytime soon.
Got it. I'll look into the flu shots and see what the health department's plan is
Okay.
in regards to that. Because that's a very good question. Very good question.
Henry?
All right, so Hillary, what we've decided is that July and August, we're gonna take a break,
Yes.
and we'll be circling back in September,
Mhm.
circling the wagons. So you won't receive, unless it's very important, you won't be receiving any information from me.
Till September.
Have a good-
Yes, yes, and I'm sure you'll say, "Hey, Wayne, are you meeting?" You know what, Hillary, I do want to say in front of the rest of the group, I thank you so very much for being there, not only for us as a commission, but for the rest of the commissions and the boards for the city. You know, you're doing extremely great work, and you came in running, and you haven't stopped. And you know, I see you around and about in places, and I'm like, wow, I don't know how, you know, when you have time to sleep, but you do it. So I greatly, as a chairman of this commission, I really thank you and I applaud you.
Thank you very much. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. You're welcome. All right, folks, that's it for me. Hey, Sarah, probably, we're off until September with the advisory. So
Sounds
I
good.
will see you sometime in the fall as well.
Sounds good. Enjoy your summer, everyone.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.